all the sessions that will be happening as part of the series will be recorded. So in case you miss out on maybe one or two, it's totally fine. The session recording will be available on the same event page where you register for these sessions. So I would still highly encourage you to register for the sessions, irrespective of you being able to attend or not, so that you at least get access to the recordings for the sessions. Umesh, can we go to the next one? Uh, Before we start, not sure if you guys have had a chance to look at this. If you are looking to get certified, if you're already certified and you can looking to certify yourself in some other with some other certification, or if you haven't yourself done certification, consider joining the Community Certification Framework program. So here is an opportunity that we have for all the community members to get certified for free. So what you have to do is scan the QR code or go to the link. I'll post the link in the chat as well, but scanning will just take you there. You will have different tracks for all the different certifications. You have to choose one. I think the one that is sold out at this point is the Automation Developer Professional, but everything else is open, including the newest certification that is launched for the Agentic Automation Associate. So go join that, and there will be a learning plan. Just Please try register for it. We are notified that it was delayed till July. Yes, we have not received any confirmation of learning plan. Any idea about Raghav? I see that you have messaged me privately. So if you haven't received a notification, if you've already registered, just wait a few more days for that. Our certification team is getting on that. But if you're registered, you are safe. You will receive the notification and get the update. So it's not a short program. So in case you miss some dates, it's fine. You don't have to be in a hurry. At the moment you get an update, you just go through the course that is there on the UiPath Academy. Once you go through that, you'll complete a diploma, and once that is done, you will get an email with an assessment test. So you uh, participate in that assessment and you score as much as you can. So give the assessment test only when you feel that you are comfortable. This is a different exam than certification. This is just to check if you are ready for certification or not. In the assessment test, based on your score, you will be awarded a certification voucher. So if you score between 50 percentage to 70 percentage in this assessment test, you will get a 50% certification voucher. And if you score more than 75 percentage in the assessment test, you will get a 100% certification voucher. The assessment test can only be taken once, so only give it when you feel you are ready for that, and there are no do-overs around that. If you want to take multiple certifications, you can register for them, but I would highly encourage apply only for the ones that you are really rigorously looking for in the near future. And yeah, this is, I think, a great opportunity. As you know, each certification costs quite a bit, and this is a great opportunity for you to earn the free vouchers. Okay, perfect. Umesh, we can go for the next one. Um, if you are here, that means you would have definitely been to this platform that is Delhi NCR Community Group. So please, if you haven't yet joined the chapter, consider scanning the QR code for the WhatsApp group, and consider going to community.uipath.com/Delhi NCR to join the platform where we have our Delhi NCR community live and thriving. What will happen is, as and when we come up with new events, new meetups, new activities in Delhi, you will get notified around that, and you can choose which one is most relevant for you, and you can join. In the WhatsApp group also, it's a very open, supportive community of professionals. If you are struggling, if you're facing any challenge, and if you're looking for any help, just put a message there, and there are enough and more people who are there to help you out on that front. And go next. Yep. So safe harbor. So anything that is being shared here while the recording is there and the PPT access will be there, do make sure that the content that is being presented is vetted from your end as well. I mean, don't just directly copy and share it to your customers or to your internal colleagues. Go through it, vet it properly, and only then do that. Customize it, which to suit your needs as well. And yes, we can go to the next one. And yeah, few I would say rules about the Delhi chapter. All the chapters that we have, including, and this is I'm talking in case you are joining us from any city other than Delhi as well. All the community chapters that we have in all the cities are run by professionals like you, the people who have the passion, who have the interest to grow and engage the community and make sure that there is a platform where people like yourself who has something to share can come and share and benefit others in the network. So it's not that there's the speakers here like Faiz and Umesh, and as someone mentioned about Nisarg as well. The speakers are not necessarily chosen by any title. It's just the intent and willingness for you to share your knowledge. So if you have that, if there is any topic that you feel that you know and you can share it with the larger group, that willingness is all that matters. And you can reach out to Faiz, you can reach out to Umesh, or you can reach out to me. We are happy to set up a similar exercise in that front. And it can be a webinar, it can be in-person activity. If you are not comfortable speaking, or be on camera or be on stage, and you're more comfortable sharing your knowledge in terms of writing, use cases, articles, tutorials, do that, post it so that others can get benefited from that too. Also, if you know of any of your colleagues who are real champions, who are real passionate about sharing their knowledge, and they are not here on the call, please do ask them to join the community. Get them in touch with Umesh and Faiz. It would be great to see how we can create that platform. Would love to nurture anyone who is showing that interest of knowledge sharing, and give them a right platform, and we'll hope to recognize them as well. Any questions that you have during the session, please post it on chat. We have two speakers, so at least one of them will make sure that the questions that are coming are, proactively, answered. Anyways, we'll have a Q&A towards the end. So in case there is any question that is not being covered, we will anyways come and cover those too. Yes, we can go to the next one. Yes, Umesh, over to you. You can take it up from here.
Thank you so much, Rohit, for setting the stage. And to start with the agenda for today's session, and this is what we are going to cover in today's session about the introduction about the current session, which is happening today, and upcoming sessions as well. What do we have in the upcoming session? And then we'll see what do we mean by agents. So we'll have some basic understanding about agents. If you are not aware about what agents are, will help you understand it. And if you are already aware what agents are capable of, what do we mean by agents, then definitely it will add more to your knowledge. And then we'll discuss about different components of agents, and then we'll have a platform walkthrough of the agentic automation on UiPath. And then we'll see the licensing requirement as well, what is required in order to use the agentic automation on UiPath platform, and how we have different models for enterprises and community users. Then we'll have a quick live demo and how to create an agent. And then we'll have an interactive Q&A session, and then we'll share more details about the upcoming sessions. All right, moving to the next slide. So this is the team that is currently supporting this uh, webinar series. Vibhor, Rohit, Sohani from the UiPath community team, and myself and Faiz as a speaker for the whole webinar series. So as mentioned, this is a 6-part series where we have tried to cover almost all the major areas around agentic automation. And in today's session, we'll be covering demystifying is UiPath agentic automation, where we'll learn about the basics of agentic automation. We'll start with the basic. We'll set the stage for the upcoming sessions. Then we'll have a session around creating expert prompts using best practices around UiPath agents and Maestro for agentic orchestration. And then we'll cover the architecting enterprise-grade automation agents that you discussed a while ago, that how to create enterprise-grade solutions around agentic automation, where security implementation is the guardrails, context grounding, can how we can best use context grounding. And then we have a session on your Path Maestro, and we have another interesting session that is on agentic automation meets UiPath IXP, where UiPath IXP can be used as a tool in conjunction with UiPath agentic platform with UiPath agents. Then we have UiPath coded agent in the last session, where we will discover UiPath LangChain, LangGraph integration, how we can use it. And if possible, we'll also try to cover the MCP server capabilities because it is still in the development. So we'll try to cover it if it is available by then. And also you can scan this QR code to register for each session separately. You will have to register for each session separately because they are scheduled on a different dates. Right? So feel free to scan this. It will land you on a page where you can find the links to all the 6 webinar on one single page. So we'll also share the link in the group chat in case you are unable to scan it at this particular time. You can anyway open that URL. You can save it. You can open it later as well. All right. So to start with, what do we mean by agentic or agents? So till now, if you're not aware, right? If you're not aware about the agentic automation, if you're not aware about agents, so we'll start with the basic. I hope you have worked on RPA, process automation before, and you know what robots are. So when we used to create robots, right? So we define a particular business rules. We define set of steps that the automation used to execute, right? So there were no decision making, or I would say there was no dynamic decision that were implemented because of the limitations that traditional RPA had. And to overcome that, or I would say in addition to RPA, if we include uh, the dynamic decision making using the LLM models, and that is where agents come into picture, where they have specific goals, specific roles defined, and they can act independently and make dynamic decision based on the input that we provide. And we'll cover a few examples as well, some real world example how um, robotic process automation is different on how agents are different, right? How you will be able to relate it with the real world example that we are going to cover in few slides. The best part of agents is they are highly adaptable based on the output that is given from the LLM models. And in terms of agentic automation, as you can see, there are a few terminologies, agents and agentic orchestration. So agents, when we talk about agents, they are smaller chunks, or I would say smaller part of the overall agentic automation platform, which are designed to achieve one specific goal. And we can have multiple agents in an organization for specific task or role. And then when we integrate all the different agents or RPA processes in one single end-to-end automation, that is where we do the agentic orchestration, where we integrate different agents for different tasks to achieve one end-to-end automation um, goal. All right. So talking about the different components of agents, this is what we are going to cover in the high level, but I'll explain you in detail when we will be discussing about the real world example. And talking about the components, first is a natural language prompt, and this is similar to what we usually provide to any other LLM model that we use. where we post our questions or text in the text format, right, in a natural language, and then we get a response from the LLM models. So this is the same prompt that we give, but when in terms of agents, we have an option to set the input and output arguments. We have an option to select or provide the system prompt as well as user prompt. And we'll also cover a few of the best practices as we do the live demo, how we can use the input output arguments, system prompts when we do the natural language prompt. The next is context, and context is and so for few of you, some of these terminologies might be new. So we'll try to make sure that you understand these terminologies with respect to agentic automation with some real world examples. So when talking about context, right? So you can think of it as a memory, and memory can be of short term and long term memory. And even for different memory types, we have different terminologies. Uh, and So what happens is whenever we provide any prompt to any LLM model, it uses the context memory to see if any existing prompt or if the result can be fetched from the memory itself without actually generating the report or response from scratch. So basically, the agent can search for the response. It can curate your response based on the context memory, based on the historical data, or I would say any other documentation or any content, any data that you provide it as a part of context grounding. So we'll cover it as well in more detail in the third part of the webinar. Tools. So talking about tools, you can think of it as um, I would say as a way to achieve particular task. So when you give any prompt to any LLM model, right, it can provide you a response, but it cannot do the task. So let's suppose if you ask the LLM model to summarize any content and send an email, it cannot send an email because it is not capable to do that, but it is capable to provide you a response based on the prompt that you provide. But since it is not able to send an email, or it is not able to maybe send a maybe send a message on WhatsApp or something. So you need tool for that. You need different tools for different tasks. So let's suppose if you want to have the LLM model also send email. So we integrate it with the tools. We add tools to that part of agent, and that's how it interacts that particular tool based on the requirement, based on the decision that we have provided in the prompt, and then it can invoke that tool to achieve that task. And then we can have different tools integrated as a part of one single agent. We'll also cover it in the live demo how we can use different tools. Escalations comes into picture when there is any need to review if the agent is not sure about certain thing, right? It can create an escalation path where someone can review it manually. So it's similar to the human. It's similar to human in the loop, but in terms of escalation, the agent only gives it when it is given in the prompt. So if we give in
Umesh,
the
Umesh, sorry to interrupt you. There is a request for repeating the context,
Oh,
so you
okay, all
can,
right.
yeah,
Sure. So
please.
I'll try to explain. So anyway, we have a real world example that will help you understand it in a better way. Because since I mean, I don't want to cover the theoretical part, that's why I kept few slides for real world example that will help you understand what context grounding is. So as of now, you can think of it as a memory, like just like how we have um, a memory in our brain, right? When we do certain things, we know like we have done it in a similar way in the past. So that's how you get to know that yeah, this can be done in this way, right? Similar to that, you can think of an agent uh, where it has a database of historical executions or data on how to do certain things. Let's suppose you have um, I would say documentation, right, which you follow, that you have the data with you, and whenever you need any help, you can go to the data on the documentation. You can follow those steps, right? Similarly, you can think of the context as the memory or the data that we feed to the agent. And there, like I said, there are different types of memory: short-term and long-term memory, based on what we feed. So, and it all usually stores in the vector database for long-term memory. For short-term memory, we have it in the context grounding itself. And so we'll show you in the demo as well, so that it helps you understand how it is done. Right. So we're talking about the escalations. Escalation is created with the help of UiPath Action Center apps, or we can also create it through different communication channels, where the agent will suspend uh, for some time. It will wait for human action, and then it can resume once the human action is submitted, or when the human verifies or provide their input. The agent can resume the task. So it's similar to human in the loop concept that we had earlier for process automation as well. And then there are the AI trust layer that I think I think Soumya was discussing about. So we'll discuss this as a part of the third part series that we mentioned in detail, because it's if we cover everything in the first session, right, it will be too long, and we won't be able to cover the basics itself, right? So I will try to explain the agentic automation through human body analogy. Uh, Um, we'll try to cover these questions at the later part of the Q&A section. So, talking about the agentic automation, and in terms of human body analogy, you can think of your brain as an agent, where uh, you have a capability to think or make decisions based on the historical executions. You can think, or you have certain memory, right? You can make decision based on that, and you have certain data as well that to refer to, that gives you ability to think and perceive and make decisions. And that is where you can think of mind, brain as a part of an agent, where it has the capability to think and plans and decide actions. When we talk about different parts of the body, including eyes, hands, legs, and ears, and that is where you can think of it as a tool, because when your mind says that you need to have a drink of glass, so you need to drink the water using a glass using your hands. So your hands become a tool to achieve that task, and you got that feedback from your brain that you need to use your hands to drink the glass of water, right? Similarly, you have eyes to see and to perceive or recognize any data, right? So you can think of these different components of your body as a tool, right? Legs to walk, ears to receive audio, right, or listen to or to understand something on the audio side. So you can think of these different tools, and brain as an agent capability to think and decide an actions, right? As you can see, the brain does not actually do the work directly. It uses tools to achieve or perceive the task, and that is where it's mandatory. I would say it's always best practice. It is required to have tools as well as a part of agent, because without tools, agent can do nothing. It can only provide you the normal LLM response that you get. So tools are necessary to achieve particular task, which normal LLM models are not able to achieve, right? And I'll also try to explain one more analogy with you, so that it will become easy for you to understand, like, what are tools, right? And how tools are really required to achieve particular task, and uh, how you can think of context memory in a real world example. So as you can see, right, um, the robotic process automation that you have created earlier can be used as a tool to let's suppose to submit a form or to fill form on a web page, right? because that's what you know that this can be done using this particular RPA process. And then you have an agent to make decisions for you, which portal to use to fill this form based on the information that you have, right? So let's suppose you have 5 different robots and they are doing different things. And then you have an agent which can decide based on the input that you have. So you don't have to define any logic by yourself or business rules, I would say, to restrict the usage, because even if you have any other process, robotic process automation as a tool, the same agent can be used to invoke different robotic process automation as a tool, because you have created that prompt, you have created that agent as a persona where it can take those decisions by itself based on the input that you have provided, right? And based on the context knowledge as well. And then there are other, I would say, activities or roles that you can define in an agent. These are not always required, but it is always best practice to cover different roles for an agent to make it more effective and to get the most out of an agent, right? So, and this is the agent story blueprint that you can keep as a reference. So whenever you create an agent, you can note down um, the keywords highlighted in bold letters, that so that will help you to understand that whenever you create an agent, you should try to incorporate these keywords in your prompt as much as possible, because that will give you that will help you generate the prompt as per the best practices, and you will be able to create, or you will be able to get most out of that agent if you use these terminologies as a part of your prompt, right? So you can note down this, you can take a screenshot as well, so that will also help you to create or generate a prompt. And you will have a separate session for prompt engineering, the second session. But just to give you a high level overview, you can create prompts as per the best practices by following this. And this is not limited. There are a lot of other best practices as well. But this is just to give you an idea at a very high level. We will cover it in detail in the next session. Right. So, so let's suppose, so this is the analogy that we have created around agentic automation that will help you understand how agentic automation works. Right. So, let's suppose you are a traveler, right? You need to travel from one place to another, and you can think of yourself as an agent, right? You are taking the decisions, how you want to. Let's suppose you want to go to maybe Sri Lanka, right? So you will cover some of the distance, maybe by airplane, if you want to. If you decide to save some time, right? And uh, you want to go to Sri Lanka, right? If you want to save time, you can decide that you want to take the plane route, right? The air route. And if you have time, you can still decide to have a road trip in a car, on a bus. So it's on you, right? You can decide. So you need to go by road. You can take a car, right? You can drive it by yourself. Then you see that you cannot reach Sri Lanka by road, because you need to take a boat or something to reach there, because you have a sea in between. So based on the situation, based on the circumstances, you take the decision, you take the tools to achieve that task to reach the destination. So when you see the road, you took car to drive to that to reach to your destination, but then you see that you cannot take the car, then you take a decision based on the circumstances that you need a boat, and then you take a boat as a tool. You can think of it as a tool, and then you reach your destination. And maybe you might have to walk as well at a certain point. So based on situation, right, you are taking the decisions and based on your experiences as well, because you cannot take a boat on a road, right? Because based on your experience, your that you cannot drive the boat on a road, right? So you can think of it, the memory or historical or whatever the information that we have as the context, which help you take the decision that you need to take a car to drive on a road. You cannot take a boat, and if you in order to uh, reach your destination. If you have a sea or a water, a body in the way, you need to take a boat, right, or maybe something else. So that's how, I mean, based on the experience, you take a decision. Your experience, you can think of it as a context. And let's suppose if you are not sure about something which you have seen for the very first time, that maybe let's suppose you see a terrain or something, or mountain, right, where you see you don't know how to climb that. So maybe you can ask someone who is expert in that. You can take a help from a guide, right? How to climb a mountain to reach that destination. So you did an escalation. You ask someone for help, and then they help you. So next time, whenever that happens, you know how to do that, right? So this is. I hope this will help you understand how agentic automation works with the real world example. And so basically, um, you have different tools to reach your destination. You can decide on the basis of context awareness and the circumstances what decision is best, and then accordingly you can call the tool or you can use the tools to achieve the end goal of you as an agent, because when you're a traveler, you need to reach from destination A to destination B, and then you have escalation as well to ask for help if needed. So I hope this helps you understand what agentic automation is. And there are different ways that we can explain, but I hope this one helps you understand what agentic automation is in terms of real world example. So this is not a use case that this is something not we can automate, but yeah, I think this will help you understand what is tools, what are agents, what is context awareness is, and what is escalation. Right. So talking about one of the use case on a real world example is invoice and billing statement generator. So this is for the enterprises. So if you're a community user, you might, or if you're a student, you might not be able to understand this particular use case. But we have implemented few of the use cases around the same, where you have defined a persona to the agent that it should act as an account receivable clerk, and it is responsible for generating and managing customer invoices and billing statements. And then we have also defined some role activities. We have given some data, some information for knowledge context, right? We have invoice formats, we have given policies, we have given instructions and everything else. We have given the KPIs as well to get the most out of it, to get more successful results. Then we can give input context as well as output instruction, that this is how your output should be formatted and should be curated as per the prompt that you have given. And then you have different tools that you can integrate to achieve that. You can have any ERP software, like including SAP, Oracle, and any other ERP tool in order to do the accounting steps. You can have API integration, you can have document understanding automation. So these are different tools that you can have in a process. So if you correlate this with a real world example that we saw, so you can think of these different tools to achieve the end-to-end automation. And when your system or when your automation do not know which tool to use at which particular step, you have that agent defined, you have given a prompt to take a decision based on the step, based on the circumstances, and then it can take a decision. It can either call an API integration, it can do the email automation based on the step that it is currently at, based on the prompt that you have given. So that way, the agent can make the decisions dynamically based on the situation. So it's not following a standard path. It is not following a standard set of rules. It is dynamic. Let's suppose if something happens, it knows that instead of going to the document understanding tool, it just need to just send an email that it failed somewhere and it ended abruptly or something like that, right? So it is able to uh, handle by handle the end-to-end automation by itself based on the prompt that we given. And the most important part of any agent is the prompt that you give. And so we'll cover it in the next session, how to do that, how to create the best prompt for an agentic automation. Let's have a quick walkthrough of the agentic automation platform as well. So there are different tools that we have. One is the agent builder, which is now a part of Studio Web. We'll see how it looks like. And the screenshot that you see here is one of the agent that we'll cover in the demo. And I'll also show you how you can build it by yourself, starting from scratch, even if you do not have any access to any of your tenant, right? If you are new to this, how you can access it by yourself, and how you can start your creating an agent by yourself. So even if you are enterprise users, definitely you might be having this access. If not, you can reach out to me. I'll help you get to that step. Right. So let's have a platform walkthrough as well. I'll show you how you can. So let me just. So what you need to do is, in order to access the UiPath agent builder, which is now part of Studio Web. So if you are new, right, you can go to the UiPathCloud.com, and so there's a you can create your own tenant. Let me just show you how you can do this. So you can go to the cloud.uipath.com. You can register yourself. You can create a new account if you do not have any account. If you do not have any account already, if you do not have any account, you can sign up. If you have an account already, then it's good. And but as a part of the license model change that happened recently, you might not get a very good amount of agent units. So I'll show you how you can get it if you want to do by something for your hands-on exercise, right? So you can create an account, but you can give the email address and then you can create an account. You can create an organization as well. So once you create an organization, you will see that there's an option to create a standard trial as well. And that is where you can have some hands-on. If you do not if you are limited, right, you can do some you can try out some of the agentic automation capabilities as well if you want. And so this is where you can opt for the standard trial. Once you do that, you just need to provide the organization name, and this will enable the standard license on your tenant. So you can enable that if you do not have it already. And once you do that, you will have access to the standard platform. And in order to access the agent builder, so you need to go to Studio. So earlier it was a part of agent builder, which is now moved into Studio Web. And this is where you can find how you can create an agent. So right. So we have dedicated session how you can create an enterprise grade agent. But in this session, we will be covering it at a very high level. So I created one of the solution today just to show you an example on a newly created tenant. So you can create an agent by clicking on this agent button. Then you also have an option for creating an agentic process, which is a part of UiPath Maestro, where you can create an agentic orchestration for by integrating different agents and tools to achieve end-to-end tasks. So we'll cover it later because we have a separate session for that for UiPath Maestro. So this is the agent that we have in here, where you can see the prompt that we have given is basically it. So this agent particularly is a web search, and then based on the web search content that it has found, it also sends that information on WhatsApp. So in total, it has two tools. One is to do the web search, and then second is to send a message on a WhatsApp as a WhatsApp message. So in as an input, it takes search query and recipient phone number. So whatever we need to search, right, we can give it in the input argument, and then we can also provide the phone number to send and the details. So you can think of this prompt as a system prompt. So the instruction which the agent will follow always. So it won't go anywhere beyond this prompt. Whatever prompt you define, right, it will follow that. And then whatever we need as an input from user, you can define it in here. So I already have this integrated WhatsApp and web search tool. And if we run it, so there is no context. in here, that means there is no memory. So it is not looking into any database or anywhere in the context to see what it processed or what are the I would say the policies or the instructions that it has to follow as a part of context memory. So it's nothing is there, just a plain agent interacting with different tools as of now. Right. So if I run it, so I have an option to change the query type, right? So I tried it with top 3 news about UiPath agentic automation from this week. Or maybe we can change it something else as well. So let's suppose if you want to have maybe so there is an Indian England test series going on, right, on the cricket. If you want to uh, send an email or if you want to send a text message to anyone on the WhatsApp as a part of an automation, like if you want to send a news about any particular topic, this is just an example. So it can do that. It can send an notification on the WhatsApp as well. So let's see what it does when we do this. So there's also a few options that I just want to highlight. So we have an option for settings. You can select the model which you want to use, the LLM models to get the response from. You can set the temperature if you want to be more precise, if you want to be more creative with the response from LLM models, you can change this, and the maximum tokens per response. So the tokens are nothing but the keywords or the words that you receive as a response from LLM model. So what will be the limitation on the maximum number of words that it can give as a response? So there are different settings that you can change. You can also use autopilot to review the prompt that you have generated. You can get help from it. You can create. It can help you curate the prompt as well, the autopilot. But we'll do it in the detail in the upcoming session. So just to give you an example, we have a prompt. We have we have defined a prompt. What this agent has to do. What are the different tools that are available, and what tool to call to achieve a certain task, right? So it has everything mentioned in here as a part of this prompt. It has different steps that it has to take. And based on that, it can talk with this tool as well as this WhatsApp tool as well. So let's do this. Then there are other things as well. I think it will take a lot of time if we cover the evaluation set. But just to give you a highlight, add to evaluation set help you create a data set for you to review at a later stage how your agent is performing on certain input. So let's suppose if you add whatever, so let's suppose if I give this input, right, as a text, as an input text, and if I get the expected response, I can set it as I can add it to a evaluation set. That means whenever a similar execution will happen at a later point of time, it will be able to judge by itself that how it is performing, whether you're going in the right direction or not, right? So if I do this, it will execute it in here, and then hopefully I'll have a new WhatsApp message very soon on my number. So it is currently doing the LLM run. As you can see, it has called the tool web search based on the query that I have provided. Then it has got something as a part of response, right? And then it did some other web search, different web search, curated or modified based on the prompt that we have given. And then it has also called a tool for sending a message, WhatsApp message. And here's the message that it has created, right, as you can see. And then at last, this is what it has sent to the WhatsApp number that we have provided. And if I show you the WhatsApp screen, as you can see, right, so just now I have received an unread message, as you can see. So this is what I have received from the agent that we just ran. And based on the input that we have provided, it has provided us the different information around India and England test series that is currently going on, right? So basically the idea was the agent can talk with different tools, creates it make a decision based on the prompt that we have given, based on the circumstances. We can have different tools configured in here. We can have context, we'll have escalation as well. And in the next demo, that will help you understand what are the capabilities that agent has. So we'll move to the presentation again, and we'll see and understand more about the license models that are currently available. In case you have any questions around the demo that we covered or any previous slides, feel free to share it in the chat. We'll discuss it at the later section. So talking about the license model that currently have around agentic automation is we have two different pricing models. One is unified pricing model and another is flex licensing model. This is for enterprise users or organizations. And the reason of having these two is flexibility between what kind of automation that you build. So the unified pricing model is the latest one. Earlier, we had a flex licensing model, which is currently going on as well. So if any customer is moving to unified pricing model, they will have platform unit as a part of this model. And by platform units, you get certain LLM calls that you can do. We'll cover it. And as a part of flex licensing model, we get AI units. So the difference is in the latest one, we get platform units. In the flex licensing model, we get AI units. They both are same, but since we have a newer licensing model available, it is now renamed as platform units. The earlier one, the flex licensing model, used to have agent units. And we so based on the license model that any organization acquire, the units name differs. Everything else is exactly the same. And now there is a correlation with LLM calls for platform units as well as agent units, right? So both the units are related to LLM calls. That means um, and at a higher level, one agent run that we just did typically consumes 5 LLM calls. So if I give you an example of this, right? So I think we had it here 1, 2, 3, 4, approximately 4 LLM calls, right? To send and receive the output. So typically it consumes around 5 LLM calls in one agent run, and it can vary based on the agent or the prompt that we generate. So let's suppose if you run an agent, right, then agent can consumes up to 5 LLM units. So we don't get the LLM units, just to make it clear, we get agent units and platform units. We don't get the LLM calls. So the LLM calls that we get is based on the free tier or free, I would say, usage that we'll cover in the next slides. Then again, there's a token-based charging mechanism. The token that we just saw right in here in the agent, yes, you can see the maximum tokens per response. So the tokens are with respect to the response that you get from the LLM model. So there's a limit to how long response you can get, how long of a response you can get. And currently the GPT-4o model supports 64K tokens. That means you can have a very large set of response per LLM call. And if you exceed that, right, your token charges, basically you can, if you, for an example, if you have 100 token calls, you can have 2 LLM call charges for that, because it's 64K per call. So so this is for the response that we get from the LLM. We can limit it, we can restrict it. So there is also a terminology called chain of tokens, something. So where you can limit the response in the prompt itself. You can use then the response as a part of, as an input for next prompt. So that way you can limit it. So you don't have to incur a lot of charges. And then also understanding different models, different terminologies around agent units, platform units, and LLM calls. Token-based charging is really important in order to do the cost monitoring as well, right? Because you don't want to incur a lot of cost when you're doing a POC, because you need to understand how you're doing it. What are the different charges that are happening, and understanding the license consumption, right? So there are two types of users, right? One is enterprise user and another is community user. And for both the users, there is a license entitlements that are there. So if you have seen, for enterprise users, the license type are usually automation developer is already there, and then Pro Plus, if you have seen it on the in the newest version of license model. So basically, the entitlements have some set of LLM calls assigned as a free tier. So I'll cover that in the next slide. What do we mean by that? And the community users have access to only design time entitlements. That means the community users cannot deploy their agents. They can still build their agent. They can debug it, but they cannot deploy it as a part of community users. And then enterprise users have an option to, they have a capability to build as well as deploy both. As you can see, right, enterprise license users receive entitlement for both design and runtime. Runtime means after the deployment, you can also do this. You can run it. And these entitlements are granted as LLM calls. So there is a limit which you can use to make these LLM calls when you do the agent run. And it varies by type of license and the plan. So I have it available in the next slide. And for community users, we can only build it. We cannot deploy it, but you can still run it. But you have a limitation on Agentic on the community user license as well. And the design time consumption is basically whenever you create, whenever you debug, whenever you do the evaluation, right? That is what the design time consumption is. And the consumption involves LLM calls or unit as per the license entitlements. That means the rules that you have defined to that particular user. And there is a free daily limit for both, for enterprise as well as for community users. We'll cover that. And then the runtime consumption is something which happens after you deploy it. And this is only applicable for enterprise users. And once your purchase, once your free, I would say, consumption is used, your agents are charged. Your platform or agent units are charged based on the model that you have. So once your consumption of platform units and agent units is also consumed, then you won't be able to run an execution of that agent because all your platform and agent units are consumed. That means you cannot execute it any further. You need to get the additional resources to do that, or you have to wait for the next day to do this. As you can see, so there are daily free agent runs that are there, and you can also go through the licensing page that is there. It has this information available that there is a limit to LLM calls that you can make. I think it's 250 calls per day for one of the I think entitlement, and then it's gradually decreases to 125 and then 50 LLM calls per entitlement. And I'll also share that link with you that you can go through to understand how it works. And so there is a limit of calls that you can make. And, consumption of platform and agent units and LLM calls. So 250 LLM calls for pro user entitlement and 225 LLM calls for plan user entitlement. So these are the different, I would say, the roles that you have or entitlement you have as a user on that organization. Basic user entitlement has 50 LLM calls per day. That means you can have 10, close to 10 agent runs, because one agent run have approximately 5 LLM calls consumption. Talking about this, once your LLM calls, right, or this is consumed, the platform units or agent units are start to consume, because and this is not per LLM. Basically, this is the platform unit. So let's suppose you have 5 LLM calls under one execution. That means you will consume one platform unit. And if you have 5 5 LLM calls, right, under one agent execution, it might consume close to 4 to 5 agent units in one run. So this is for the standard model that are available, like GPT. We have GPT and Cloud, right? And I think Gemini Pro as well. For any customer managed model or out of the box model that you have in house, you can use that model, but it will cost 30% lesser than the existing one. So if you are using your own customer managed model, this is what it will consume. And I'll also share this licensing URL with you so that it will give you more clarity about how licensing works. But I hope this help you understand right, that you got some LM calls that you can do as a part of this licensing model. And then there are also entitlement based uh, access that you get uh, as a part of community as well as enterprise user. We already had a demo, so uh, uh, we'll skip this slide and then we'll cover the Q&A that we have, and let's see if we have any questions in the chat. I think some of the Faz has responded to some of the questions already. So we have a dedicated session for architecting enterprise-grade automation agents. So we'll go through in detail. We'll cover almost everything that you need. And if you want to cover anything specific, right, any specific topic while building agent, you can feel free to share that with us. We'll cover that, but we'll cover the maximum that we can. Studio Desktop do not have any capability to create agentic or agent process automation, but once you have created an agent, you can invoke that agent through your process automation. So there is an activity that you can search for on UiPath Studio Desktop. That is UiPath.agentic.activities. That would be in preview, I guess, but you can use that to invoke your agent from RPA workflow in UiPath Studio Desktop. So it do not consume any units for extracting the information from web, but in the backend it is using an LLM model also. So that's a different part. But when doing the LLM run, right? When you are doing the agent run, it is definitely invoking an LLM in the background. So it is consuming some AI units, and based on the chart that we saw, right? For each for each agent run, we have 5 LLM calls. That means approximately 1 agent unit is consumed per run. So yes, for development testing as well, it consumes LLM units as we mentioned. And for community users, since we only have access to, as community users, you will only have access to debug or evaluate, right, your set. You do not have any option to deploy it, but it's still using LLM units. If you cross that LLM unit quota, you won't be able to run it again, right? So there's yes, it does consume LLM units when you do the development and testing. You can use agents in Maestro as well, but again, it uses LLM calls. It uses the units. So you need to make sure that you're not over consuming, you're not going beyond the quota if you're using community license, because when you're doing it using community license, there is a limitation. But if you have an enterprise license, then you don't need to worry. You already have platform units and agent units, which will take care of it. Yeah, agent deployment is not allowed for community users. So yes, this is, as you can see, right? I'll also share the slide again. So they do not have access to runtime entitlements for deployment and execution. So you cannot deploy as a community user, but you can still run it. You can still create it. You can debug it. You can access Maestro as well, but you cannot deploy it as a community user because there's a limitation. And some about the rest of the questions, I think Faiz has answered. There are a few more. So master process can be deployed. If you're asking about community, you cannot deploy it. But if you're asking about the enterprise users, you can definitely deploy it on cloud as well. If you are using private cloud, then definitely you can do it on a automation suite as well. I think for rest of the questions, I think I don't think it would be. But I don't know if you are asking about comparison between Anyten and UiPath. So these two are different tools. Anyten has some limitations, but yeah, definitely it's a great tool. But UiPath has an edge because of the existing RPA flows that it has, and you can integrate your RPA workflows with the agent with ease, and we won't be able to cover more on that because it's a different platform, right? Anyten is a different platform. All right. And if there is anything that you would like us to cover in the next session, which is around prompt engineering, and we also have a session coming up on enterprise grade agent, how you can create agent for enterprises while following the best practices around securities. And if you want to cover anything specific, feel free to let us know. We'll be happy to incorporate it in the upcoming sessions. And thank you for staying with us in this session. We have next session coming up this week, Thursday, which is around crafting expert prompts for the Path agents and Maestro. So we'll cover how you can create the prompt as per the best practices, and how you can have the most out of an agent, because prompt is the heart of it, because it's the brain, right? This is where it gets to decide which tool to call, which tool to invoke, and how to do the escalation if something happens, right? So for creating a prompt, drafting a prompt is really important. So you can scan this QR code to register for this session, which is happening in a couple of days on Thursday at the same time. And you can also reach out to myself and Faz if you want to cover anything specific, or if you have any idea in your mind, or if you want to take participation as a speaker as well in upcoming sessions. So feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to help you. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Really appreciate your time and patience. I hope you found this session interactive, and you found some information around some new information around agentic automation. I think specifically around license, I guess. So because rest of the part I think already covered in existing sessions, but the idea was to give you the basic of, or the set the tone for the upcoming session, so that will give you an idea how you can access the UiPath agentic automation platform to build your own agents. And once you have it, once you understand the prompt creation, you will be able to create your own agent at the best practices. So thank you so much for joining this session. We'll see you in the next session. I hope you have already registered for this.
Thank you, Umesh.
All
Thanks,
right.
everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.